All right, now one man has been fighting the data battle for a number of years now. Radio personality Tbo Touch has been calling on government to make data more affordable. He joins me now in studio to get his reaction with regards to the data price report, but also MTN and Vodacom's response. Tbo, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for inviting me. I think it's long overdue. Shout out to the Competitions Commission. And let's see the arrogance of network in 2 months' time.
Yep, they've given them that deadline, which is 2 months. We're going to get in that in just a moment. But let's get back to data must fall. Now, you championed that, movement, even on social media, trending almost daily.
To Parliament.
Right? You presented in Parliament. What happened after that?
So the notes we presented to Parliament, the recommendation was made that they should be submitted to the Competitions Commission. But also, if you look at how many ministers of communication we've had since 2016, that inconsistency is like there's no handover file of some of the disputes that have been brought around the issue of data must fall. But every time we know the SONA happens, you hear from former president to the current president, somewhere in their speech, they highlight the significance of making data cost affordable, but nothing happens. Until then, these submissions are made to the Competitions Act on numerous occasions. And unfortunately, to fight this type of cause, one needs to have legal resources. And not everybody does. And a hashtag doesn't win victories unless you take it to court. But networks have been sitting on this exorbitant price of data, and it was like they were waiting for some divine intervention to literally understand the cries of ordinary South Africans that what we've been charged is not even regulated. So when the CEO of the Competitions Commission, urges ICASA to regulate, it's the same thing I said the last time I was invited to the studios, to say we have a price fixing system where we all know the greed of what network are charging for the price of data. But no one is taking that affirmative action, and I'm happy that the Competitions Commission is going to get the support from people that are making submission as to how much we should be paying. So we currently also submitting to the Competitions Commission. Already there are numerous of submissions that people have been signing a petition, and we hope that it's not going to be a 2 months duration that networks will turn around and make a decision, but they realize that they're going to make it now. And I was shocked at their response from what the Competitions Commission has said. So that tells you that long-lasting arrogance, what fuels network to think that they cannot subdue to whatever the Competitions Commission is recommending.
Well, in their response, they mentioned two things. At least Vodacom says that these high costs are not, number one, their fault. They didn't just wake up and decide on all these costs deliberately. They say a delay in spectrum allocation is to be blamed. Is that valid enough of a response?
I think that type of an excuse is you saying it's not your fault, you failed because the teacher didn't give you the exam paper. You go to school to learn, and you have the power to create a monopoly, and that's what you've done over these years. And now that your monopoly is exposed, you want to talk about spectrum. Networks have been knowing in territories like Nigeria, where there are 4, 5, 6 other players, their costs have come reasonably low. Why is it in South Africa there had to be some kind of allocation of spectrum for you to even change your prices, when you know very well that you are milking it out of the South African market simply because you don't have a firm regulatory authority that is giving you the type of ultimatum that the Competitions Commission has done? So I really don't think they should have consulted better to, that response is lame. But the truth of the matter is we're not going to wait for 2 months. Already we know for the years that the data costs have been introduced on the market, South Africa was the highest paying. So it's sad that it takes, people going on creating threats on marches to get the attention of the network. On numerous occasions, I was told that you're fighting giants, you're not going to win the battle. Even if I took some to court and they said you won't win, you are just an individual. And we need to escalate to a point where we don't fight battles just on social media, but we organize ourselves constructively to say the next allocation of spectrum, let us see key black participants who will want to come with their own network, because I think those who understand the core needs of people on grassroots level will best structure their businesses in terms of their cost and pricing to suit the majority of the nation. Because without affordable data, business is like everybody I don't care if you're in the online business or you're operating in a service provider as a plumber. The world is connected today through communication.
And indeed, the Commissioner said that these prices are anti-poor. But we'll leave it at that. Tbo Touch, thank you so much for your input in today's conversation. That is Tbo Touch radio and television personality, including entrepreneur, stating, of course, his stance with regards to not only the data price report published by the Competition Commission, but also the response that we have seen coming from Vodacom and MTN.